Good Wednesday morning. I lost a day. So, I am Mommy the Monster reporting in today. I'm pulling out of my vet's office. It is 7:20 in the morning. And I dropped my baby off, little Oliver. Now, before I start telling my story here, I want y'all to know that I am a huge spay neuter advocate. I don't even play around. When they hit 5 months old, they're going. Males and females. My female cats or dogs never hit a heat. My males, well, I lie. PJ did. PJ, we didn't get done right away because Gracie was so sick. That's another story in itself. And Grace cost us $5 grand in the first 3 months we got her. That's our Basset. And the only way we had anything to drink was to go to his mom's and fill gallons of water because we couldn't even afford a gallon of tea, and that's no lie. We were flat broke to save Grace's life almost 12 years ago. So we couldn't afford to get peepers done right away, and all our males in the house were neutered, so it's not like she was going to get pregnant. So she's the only one that didn't get altered immediately. So anyway, Oliver, my guess is 4.5, 5 months, maybe 5.5 months. He's in there. He's old enough and big enough to get neutered, though. No problemo. And, no matter how many times I do this, and no matter how much I know it's the right thing to do, and if you don't do it, you're irresponsible, I feel like Mommy the Monster. I'm going to be honest with you. He was so scared, and I kept snooking him and telling him how much I love him and I would be back, and he has his daddy's coat with him to bundle up in. What I did was I put it over the carrier because it's so bitter cold, and Oliver hasn't been out since the day we brought him in, which was the week of October, well, it would have been probably October 18th, 19th. That was the last time little Oliver felt the outside. So I said to her, can he have this coat to snuggie in? I said it's his daddy's, and that way he has something familiar. And she said, sure, I'll put it in the carrier, or in the cage with him. And they're going to do him first because he's a neuter, so I expect to have him home by noonish. And also, my vet, you will never find a better human being or vet on the planet than Dr. Rhodes. He is a gift from God. That man is amazing. Which leads me to, I decided I would tell you all the stories of how we acquired our children. So back in the day, in 2005, when I met Wynn, I only had my Hannah, she was a dog, my Madeline, my first and most amazing German Shepherd, also in heaven, and my Potter, my son, he's in heaven. Hannah's gone 5 years, January. Madeline will be gone a year in January, and my son will be gone a year in February. Them three were my everything. And of course I had a few other cats, but they kind of just lived there. Granger, he was a rescue, but he was peeing all over the place I lived, and I couldn't keep him. I can't. No matter how much I love an animal, I won't live in filth and stench. So I got Granger another home. And the other cats, I had 2 other cats. I also got them a home before I left Pine Grove. Anyway, We lived in Shippensburg maybe, I don't know, less than 6 months, and I had baby fever, and I wanted a basset hound. And we found Gracie. Backyard breeder. As much as I know about animals, I was not educated on this backyard breeder stuff until I came to live here. And I'm right in the heart of it, let me tell you. I'm in Amish Mennonite country, and they're the ones that do it. I'm going to flat out lay it out. It's a fact. I'm not saying English, as they call us, excuse me, don't do it, because they do. But your majority is them, and Grace came from a Mennonite family. Now I want to tell you a little story before I'm going to squirrel for a second here. I also wanted a German Shepherd pup. We were going to get 2 puppies. And I found a breeder, and I called the number. It was the Zook family. And I asked questions. First question, how old's the mother? Second question, how many litters has she had? Third question, is she hip cert? First question was, like I said, how old's the mother? I think she said she was 2. A little earlier than I would breed if I was breeding, which I would not do. I don't believe in breeding unless you're breeding for the betterment of the breed. Gonna lay that right out there. Yeah, I would never have bred. A 2-year-old dog is still a baby. My puppies are 3 and they're still puppies. It was her first litter, or I would have hung up immediately. So she did good there as far as that went. Third question, is she hip cert? She said, what's that? I said, say what? She said, what's that? And I said, you're breeding German Shepherds, and you have no idea what hip certification is? She said, no, I don't. What is that? Well, I gave her a good piece of my mind and promptly hung up on her. I was furious. That should have been my ticket to know that I was in a bad place to even think about getting a dog. However, God puts you where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be, and we stumbled upon, by accident, Grace's litter. As I mentioned in another video, I had picked Grace's sister. We wanted a female. We had picked the litter. There were 2, Grace and her sister. Her sister is who I was already naming Grace, and she was a tri-Bassie, and Wynn didn't like her. So at the last minute, I walk away. I had no idea if it was going to be male or female. Wynn said that how he picked the pup was, which I didn't know until after the fact, whichever came to him was coming with him. Gracie got a hold of his shoe and started playing. He said, that's it, you're ours, and he picked her up. Thank God. Gracie was one sick puppy. I could do a whole video alone on what was wrong with Boobs. Just know, one day I'll do the story on Gracie. But if I want to tell you the rest of our rescue story, I need to cut the Gracie off here. Just know that we spent $5 grand in 3 months to save that baby's life, and I would walk the floor, rocking her, praying, crying over this little puppy, bawling my heart out. Please, God, don't take her from us. Please, God. I'm getting all choked up. Grace is going to be 12. Please, God, don't take her from us. It was hell. What we went through with Gracie was absolute hell. We went so broke to save her, and you know what? We do it all over again. So if you can't tell by my other videos and the way I am with my kids and the way Wynn is with the kids, they are our heartbeat. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cry. When it comes to my kids, I'm an emotional mess. And even to this day, like I said, Gracie was only 7 weeks old. Gracie's going to be 12 in April, and it still breaks my heart. It was horrible. But God knew we loved her. God knew we wanted her, and God saved her. Anyway, while Grace was still tiny, Wynn called me over to his work, and he's like, do you want that? And I had just gotten a different vehicle, and he was pointing to, I saw a vehicle, and I said, what are you talking about? I just got this. He said, no, do you want that? And out comes this teeny tiny little gray kitten, and I'm like, oh my God. She was 100% feral until it came to Wynn. She ran right to Wynn, would wrap herself around Wynn's leg. Just, again, God put his hand in it all. That's Sweetie, Sweet Pea. She'll be 11. A little bit later, they dump cats where we live, and we were getting overrun. We did have all the cats outside spayed and neutered, but you know, you can't catch them all. So I said to Wynn, I said, number one, this is getting out of hand with all these cats. Number two, I said, these babies don't have a chance. The next litter that I can get, I'm getting them, and that's the end of it, I said, and I'm bringing them in. Well, that happened to be Fred, Tiger, and Panda. Fred and Tiger are in heaven. Panda's still here with us. They're 10. Well, Panda's 10. Then came Bear and them, the 13 kittens. That was another situation. One spring, till it was done, I collected 13 kittens all around the same age that all needed bottle fed round the clock. Round the clock. Out of those kittens, Buddy. Out of those kittens, we still have Bear, Peaches, PJ, Bear, Peaches, and PJ. Yeah. We lost them all different reasons. Ebby we had over a year, but Ebby, and we vetted him constantly. Oh my God, he was the sweetest, most beautiful cat. He would just be there, and he'd leave a stinker, and he'd shoot liquid poo out of his butt, like constantly, to the point where Ebby lived out in the yard, because I'll never forget it. He pooed all over Madeline's head, and Madeline, like, she was mortified. I mean, if it was kind of funny the way it happened, but it wasn't. Again, Madeline was our German Shepherd. She looked at me like, Mom, do something. He pooped on my head. I mean, if you could have seen it, you would have, oh my God. It was horrible for her. She was, I'm telling you, mortification was all over Moopy's face. But, it broke our heart, but we had no choice but to put Ebby to sleep. And Ebby was not gaining weight. It was a mess. So we have 3 of the kittens left from all that. And again, that's another story to tell you how they all passed away. But know that I did everything I could to, we both did, to keep them here. Then came Jackson. Chucky called me over and he said, is this one of our cats over there? He knew it wasn't, because our cats here are pretty much, they're not feral, like they don't run, but the only time you can really pet them is if they're eating, and you know, sneak one in there, and then when they realize you are, they'll back up. They don't run from you, but they don't come to you, and they don't let you pet them. So Jackson happened. Then we rescued Albert out of the Al John Packer. We got Albert. Y'all know how we got Oliver. We came home from my parents the Sunday before my surgery, and there's this baby, and the rest is history. the puppy story is the one that's going to get you. I just pulled in. My kids are carrying on. I need to go into my babies. Once I get everybody settled down, I'll come back on and tell you how we got 3 puppies that were 3 months apart. Let's see. July. 4 months apart. So Gunner and Dixie are 4 months older than Molly. And I raised the, well, we both did, but I'm home all the time. Wynn goes to work. 3 puppies. Same time. Huh? Yes. I'll tell you that story when I get in and get everybody settled down. All right, guys. If you're still watching, it gets better. And thank you for listening to my story and putting up with me crying. But my kids, they make my heart beat. All right. I'll be back in a bit. Talk to you soon. Okay, so I'm back to tell you the rest of the story. So I did forget about Ben in there. Benny was dumped off on my husband's way to work. One of his co-workers literally saw the people dump Benny, and they thought that he was garbage. And when they went to pick up the garbage was Benny. And we wound up keeping Benny. We had gotten Ben for someone else, but they were like, well, if it don't work out and we don't keep him, I'm like, no, forget it. We'll just keep him. And we've had Benny. Benny will be 11. Benny was 12 weeks old when we got him, approximately. So, you got to remember now, we have Benny, Gracie, Madeline. Hannah's already gone to heaven. And we have every cat but Oliver. Well, yeah. Potter's in heaven now. Fred's in heaven now. So we've lost 2 cats since then. Guys, nobody's out there. So we go to my parents. They live up in Lewistown, and I can't think of the name of the place. I always forget what it's called. I think it starts with an I. Even Chucky forgets the name of the town. It's just a little town. If you blink, you miss it. But it's halfway between here and there. And every time we go past, they'd have this yard sale out. And I'd tell Wynn to stop, and he wouldn't stop. He's a bah humbug when it comes to yard sailing. And he said, there's nothing you need, which he got a point there, but don't matter. When you see a yard sale dog on it, you stop. So the 3rd time, I'm like, stop. And I mean it, stop. So he stopped. And we get out, and we're looking around, and I look down, and there's these 2 kittens in the cage. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Guys, enough! Sorry I yelled. Sometimes if I don't, they won't stop. I don't know what they're hearing. I don't hear anything. The other day, they were carrying on like lunatics. I couldn't figure out what their problem was. They were banging at that door like they were going to knock the patio door to shreds. A bird kept landing on the deck and playing in the snow. And they were losing their minds. Then they tried to catch said bird. Oh, dear Lord. What a menagerie. Anyway, I asked him what the kittens were in the cage, and he's like, well, they're strays, and I don't want my dog to get it. He has pretty nasty pit bull, I guess. And he said, I'm going to try and get them a home here at this yard sale. And I said, oh. And I said, are they the only ones? And he said, well, I have a litter of puppies, too. I said, you what? Chucky went, oh, you got to be kidding me. Please don't tell me they're German Shepherds. I said, Gracie. Dixie. Oh, never mind. It's okay. I thought Dixie was in her face. Please don't tell me they're German Shepherds. And he said, no, they're Australian Shepherd lab mixes. I said, really? What do they look like? Well, come on, I'll show you. So there's these like 3-4-day-old puppies. They're in this room, and it's like no the curtains were drawn like it was pitch black in there. Middle of the day in the summer, and it's like, okay. So I kept thinking about these puppies. And, you know, we said we'd come back and at least look at them. And we talked about it. And we were like, we don't need another dog and blah, 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 blah. So time went by, and my dad called out of the blue one day, and my mom was up in State College. They took her to the hospital. She was talking weird and acting weird, and nobody knew what was going on. They thought she was over-medicating herself. No, that would be what they did to her. And it wasn't on purpose. It was one medicine she had accelerated the other one. The chemicals wreaked havoc in her system and basically made her... She was getting high from these pills, I guess is the best way to put it. Even though she wasn't. Her pills were interacting and causing her to be funky in the head. And my dad was all worked up. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. And he called to see if we'd go up. And I said, I'm not getting off this couch. I don't feel good. It's hot as a biatch out there. It was like mid-August. I said, I'm not doing it. Well, Chucky said to me, you need to talk to your dad. My dad was almost in tears. And he's like, I can't take anymore. I need you. And I'm like, all right. So we go up. And on the way coming home, I said to Wynn, I said, let's stop and let them know we're not going to get the puppies. I said, or a puppy. They're nice people. And I would like to see what they're growing up to be. Now, at this point, it's probably a good month or better. Remember, they were only 4 days old. Their little eyes weren't even open. Couldn't really tell. I mean, you could see some were spotted, some were black, but you didn't really know what they were going to look like. So we stopped. And they're like, oh my God, hi, how are you guys? And I said, well, we just kind of wanted to come and let you know that we really talked about it. And we honestly can't take another pup right now or anything. And I said, honestly, I would like a German Shepherd, and no offense, but if we take one of your puppies, there goes my German Shepherd chance. And she said, I understand, I understand. She said, but oh my God, they're so cute and blah, blah, blah. And we liked them as people, and we decided, you know, we were yapping. We were there, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. And she's like, do you want to see them? And I'm like, I'm going to say no to puppies. And Chucky's like, oh boy. So we go up, and there's these puppies, and squalor doesn't even begin to put it in your mind what these puppies lived in. They're still in this room. The floors are hardwood, and it stinks. And there's a scoop shovel. Dixie and Gunner, knock it off. What is wrong with you? Gracie. Dixie, lay down. I bet you 20 bucks the bird's out there again. Lay down right now. Settle yourself. Go lay down. I mean it. Behave. Dixie, I said lay down. Lay down. They don't listen because that's the worst they get in this house. They had a scoop shovel in this room that had no light coming into it, and it stunk. And when she opened the door, like, I was mortified. There was like piles of poop everywhere. And she said, well, that's how we clean up after the puppies. I said, what? I said, you don't let them out or take them out? She said, oh no, they haven't been out at all. So these, at this point, 7-week-old puppies' feet have never touched grass. They're living in a peed up, pooped up room where they're scooping poop with a shovel. So we take puppies down. She has one. I have Gunner. And she picks up Dixie. Down we go. He is drunk as a skunk. So we're holding the puppies. I hand Dixie to Wynn. And, yes, you. And he's cuddling this puppy, and I have Gunner, and I won't let him go. This beautiful black fluff ball. And they said, that's Bear. And I said, we have a bear. He's a cat. And he said, they kept saying to us about taking him. And I said, we cannot. And he said, 25 a piece. And I'm like, geez Louise. Like, you know, I pay hundreds for my puppies. Madeline was $5. Gracie was $2.50. There they are telling me $25 for a puppy. And I'm like, of course, they're not purebred either. I said, no, no, we're just here out of courtesy because we liked you guys to let you know we couldn't and that we were asking around to see if anybody wanted some beautiful puppies to maybe help you find homes for them. Next thing you know, they let out the father. Well, on the way down the steps from me going up to the bathroom, the mom's laying on the couch. Purebred lab, black lab. She's the size of Benny. She's emaciated. They leave the father out. His name's Pepper. This dog, you could see his bones sticking at his fur. And I'm like, why does that dog look like that? Oh, that's how Australian Shepherds are built. If you take one of these, you'll see. I know an emaciated dog when I see one. That was one. Chucky's like, Sherilyn, let's go. Because we're both getting pissed. And he can see that I'm brewing. Something's about to be said. And he's like, there's going to be a problem here in his mind. We got to go. We hand the puppies off. And all of a sudden, you hear this, the doink. And you look over. Well, I didn't see it. Chucky saw the whole thing. The drunk man stumbled and dropped the third puppy, not Gunner, not Dixie, the other one, in a grate that he had because they had junk all over the place. And this puppy's leg got in the grate and it flipped. It didn't let out a yelp or nothing, but Chucky, I saw his face turn fire engine red. And we still actually had Gunner and Dixie. We were going to hand them off. And he said, we'll take these two. And I'm like, say what? He said, we'll take these two. I said, what are you talking about? We'll take these two. And he's like mad. And I'm like clueless. What is going on? I said, yeah, right. You're not funny. He said, we'll take these two. And she said, awesome, $50. And he said, well, we got a problem with that. We never have cash. Is there an ATM around here? Well, there was, but it was out of order. Because, I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere here. God darn it, I got to look up what that town's called. I can't remember. I know it's Perry County. That much I know, but I can't remember. Ickesburg. I just remembered. Ickesburg. It's the weirdest town name. Ickesburg is the town. And they had that one ATM, and it was broke down. So she said the closest ATM is like 30 miles, and I looked at Wynn, and she said, don't worry about it. We trust you. She said you could take the puppies and then bring it back. So we're like, are you sure? And she said, yeah. And Chucky's like, good, that's what we'll do. And I'm like, I'm like mind blown. Like, how is this happening that we're leaving here with two puppies? What is going on? We get in the vehicle, and he's in the back with the puppies, and I'm driving, and he's like snorting. And I'm like, we pull out, we're a couple blocks down the street, and I'm like, want to tell me what's going on? How do we have two puppies in this vehicle? You want to know? You want to know? And he's like a maniac. He said, I'm telling you right now, Sherilyn, if he would have broke that puppy's leg, you'd be bailing me out of jail because I would have knocked him flat. I would have pulverized him. He's drunk, carrying that puppy around, drops that, and he's carrying on like a maniac. He said, we almost left with 3. But I was afraid that if I go to get that puppy from him, my temper would have flared, and I would have grabbed a hold of him if he would have made a move or started, or I don't know what. I had to get out of there with these puppies that we had in our arm. Did I still have Gunner? In our arms. I still had Gunner. He still had Dixie. We were in process of handing them off and leaving because of the emaciated dogs that I saw, which were the parents, okay? So I'm like, what are we going to do with 2 puppies? I don't effing know, but we have 2 puppies now, and that's just the way it is. And I'm like, I'm sure it took me a good 2 months to get over the, oh my God, we have 2 puppies. In the meantime, I put the puppies on Facebook. My friend Crystal from back in Votech high school days sees these puppies, asks if there's any left. She would like a runt. I said I could find out. When we took the money up to them, I had been at Dollar General and got 2 great big bags of, they had 5 adult dogs, and they had, at that point, 5 or 6 puppies left. I got 2 big bags of adult dog food and a bag of puppy food. And Wynn, unbeknownst to me, also got them dog food. When Wynn took the money up and all the food, they cried in that, and Wynn had asked about the puppy, or the kittens, and it turned out that they had the kittens in the house. The daughter left the pit bull in the house, and the pit bull tore the kittens up. Anyway, he gave them the food, and they were thankful in that, and of course he got their number in that. And I said to Crystal, I said, let me find out. So I asked if they had any pups left. I texted her. And did they have the runt? So she shared pictures with me, and I shared with Crystal. She talked to her husband. Of course, they wanted the puppy. Now, Ickesburg, where they live, is like an hour and 10 minutes from here. Hershey, from there, is another 2.5 hour drive. We made arrangements, and we drove up there, picked up the puppy, and then headed to Hershey to meet my friend Crystal, who lives in Upper Schuylkill County, to deliver this puppy. So we go and get the puppy, and she hands me this puppy, and I literally felt the bones poke me. And I'm like, Kelly, what in God's name? Oh, well, the other pups don't let that one eat. And you knew this. Well, yeah. Then why aren't you taking that pup from the litter? And why aren't you now they're 8 weeks old at this point. And why aren't you making sure that puppy gets taken care of? Well, I was hoping we would have found a home and blah, 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 and all these excuses. And she was telling me they kept one of the puppies, and she was telling me how it's not housebreaking. Because I asked her, how's it going with the housebreaking? She said, well, Lady still eats her, I forget, Cooney. They named it Raccoon. Cooney's poop. I said, are you serious? They never took this puppy out to teach it to housebreak. They left the mom eat this puppy's poop. And I'm like, so we leave. We're on our way with the puppy to Crystal. Chucky's like, Cheryl. I said, I know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. We meet up with Crystal, and Chucky takes her to the side, and he said, listen, this puppy's in bad shape. If you don't want it, we'll take it. We'll do what we can for it. Crystal's like, oh my God, no. What are you talking about? He said, it's in bad shape. This puppy's Yuki, and he's now absolutely stunning, gorgeous, perfect. He's a mix of Gunner and Dixie. He's just beautiful. The vet told Crystal 1 more week and that pup would have been dead. Or 1 more, not week, day. Excuse me. 24 hours or less that pup had to live. It took them, I think, a week or 2 of severe drugs and days of IV to get that pup to where it was even out of the woods. That it would be okay. Luckily, Gunner and Dixie weren't in that shape, but poor Yuki was. I called the dog warden, and I said, listen, these guys are decent people. They love their animals, but they got their priorities mixed up. She didn't work. He only worked a couple days a week. They had no money. They were poor as church mice, but they seemed to be able to smoke and buy alcohol. I explained the situation. I said, I don't want you to go and take these pups from them. At this point, I didn't give any name. I didn't give any location. I just told the story. And I said, you got to promise me that instead of doing something like that, you'll reach your hand out and try and help them. Because I think with the right help, none of the dogs were inoculated. None of the dogs saw a vet. I'm more than sure they didn't have rabies shots. I mean, bad situation. Instead of him reaching a hand out and wanting to help, he lets me know that I could have my puppies taken from me, because in the state of Pennsylvania, you cannot take a pup away from its mother till they're 8 weeks of age. I said, whoa, 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 what? That's bullcrap, because when I got Hannah, she was 7 weeks old, and I adopted her from Hillside SPCA in Schuylkill County, and Barbara Umaloff is one of the biggest animal advocates out there, and she is like, most people don't like Barbara Umaloff, because if you do one thing wrong to an animal, she's coming for you. And I said, that ain't true. And he said, how long ago was that? And I said, well, Hannah's in heaven. At that point, it would have been 2 years. And I said, Hannah was almost 17. He said, right, the law changed, did he say 5 or 6 years ago? I said, oh, wow, I didn't know that. He said, by rights, I could come and take your puppies and fine you. And I said, you've got to be kidding me. I am trying to do the right thing. My husband and I, with an already full house, rescue these dogs and then rescue these puppies and then turn around and take that much food up to them. And I didn't tell you this part. We took 1,500 pounds of dog food and puppy food up to them as well. I used to coupon, and I was getting cases of Purina dog chow and Purina puppy chow, and Wynn put as much as he could fit in that Durango, that they figured it out that it was over 1,500 pounds of dog food and puppy food. Even after all this happened, and he took 2 cases of treats up there, because I was getting treats and stuff when I was couponing too. Even after all this happened, and we had our hands full here, we were running food up to them. Well, we weren't. Chucky was running food up to these people constantly, trying to help them out. And was trying to help them find homes for the pups, which we did one of them. And there's this dog warden and tells me, by rights, he could take my puppies from me and find me. And I said to him, I said, here we are, trying to do the right thing, helping these animals and helping these people as well. With a little bit of guidance and a little bit of help, they would be in a better situation and they'd be able to keep their animals. You want to punish me and take my puppies from me that we rescued? You go ahead and you try. And you come to my door. And you better be prepared to taser or shoot my ass, because that's the only way you're getting your mitts on these puppies. So I dare you. And I'm not joking. He said, I'm not going to push it or do anything. I'm just letting you know. And I said, and I'm just letting you know. Have a very nice day. And I was never so mad in all of my life. So we helped Kelly and his name's on the tip of my tongue. It's not Jay. Maybe she called him Jay. Jerry. She called him Jay. We helped Kelly and Jerry out as much as we could, but there came a point where, probably a year ago, she sent me pictures, and I said, another litter, Kelly. Are you serious? Oh, but ain't they so cute? And when I saw the puppies and who the mom was, I said, Pepper's the father. The mom was one of their sisters. Pepper was the father of the puppies, which is the father of the mother. I said, Kelly, those pups are inbred. Are you serious? That was over a year ago. Kelly never said another word to me. Never. Bad situation. Gunner, Dixie, and Yuki are very lucky that what happened happened. Now let's talk Molly. Gunner and Dixie are 5.5 months old. We take them in to get them spayed and neutered. I had no idea there was even a situation like this going on. They take Gun back, and I hear this, yeah, beep, 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 and I'm like, what is that? That is not Gunner. That's much younger than Gunner. Oh, yeah, that's a Yuri, Wanda says. I said, what the bleep's a Yuri? And they start laughing. Now, the funniest part of that is we were talking, and as I was checking the kids in, Wynn's sitting on the bench with both of them tight against him. And I said, you know, this is the same man that said no more animals, no dogs in the bed. And the night we brought them home, he said, I'm taking the puppies back to bed with me. You can have them in the morning. And they're laughing and cracking up. And they're like, yeah, he's all talk. And I said, yeah, and he owes me a German Shepherd pup. Bottom line, he owes me a German Shepherd pup. He took these puppies, didn't even give me a chance to have one. No, he had to have two, and I'm going on, and they're laughing. He's sitting there like... So now I hear this yipping, and they said, that's a Yuri, and I'm like, what the... It's a Yuri. And they laugh, and they bring this puppy out. And all I saw was this cone and this sweater, and I had no idea what breed this puppy was. And I bend down to start petting this puppy, and I feel bones. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Wanda said, let me tell you the story. This puppy, Yuri, just had an operation. She had persistent right aortic valve. And I said, what is that? And she said, that's when it's like the precursor to megaesophagus. If you ever heard of that, it's they can't swallow. The flap in their esophagus doesn't work right, and they can't swallow. They regurge, which means it doesn't even hit their stomach. You can't vomit unless it hits your belly. Regurge means it never goes down. So these dogs don't have a very promising life, and they have a life of hell. It's very hard. That's where the Bailey chairs come in and all that other stuff, which I didn't know any of that until Yuri is Molly. I'll just tell you that. So she's telling me the story that they do kennel checks around the area. And it's the Amish and Mennonite. I'm going to lay it right in the line for you. And they were scheduled to do one on this farm. And the dude's name was Yuri. And when they went there, the pups were weaning. And this one pup kept regurging, and she would eat, but then she'd bring it right back up. And Dr. Rhodes is like, that sounds a lot to me. She's got the symptoms of persistent right aortic valve. And the Mennonite man says to him, what's that? And he tells him, and he said, a simple operation and some time and patience, and she should be okay. He looks Dr. Rhodes right in the face and says to him, I didn't breed them to spend money. I bred them to make money. She can be shot. Dr. Rhodes is like, that's a really nice pup. You know, and he said, look, he said, Dr. Rhodes said, I'll give her the operation. He said, well, then you're responsible for her. Dr. Rhodes said, you sign her over, I'll take care of her. So that's what he did. And this is what I'm saying. Dr. Rhodes is a man, he's in it for the animals, and that is it. He is a very high-priced vet, and he should be. And he is, yes, he makes money doing this, but when it comes down to brass tacks, his heart is all in. He is all for the animals. And the Molly story is living proof of it. So Dr. Rhodes takes Molly and he gives her a surgery. And they have her for 4 weeks. And she's at the point now when we walked in with Gunner and Dixie where she could be found a home. And as Wanda's telling me the story, she adds that to the end. And at this point, of course, I realized she's a German Shepherd. And I looked at Wanda, tears running down my face, and I said, she has a home. And they're like grinning from ear to ear, and Wynn's behind me going, absolutely not. No, no, no. And I looked at him and I said, I have never went against you when it comes to animals, but I'm telling you here, and I'm telling you now, the only way I'm not going home with this pup is if Dr. Rhodes says no, and I'm willing to bet everything I have and everything I love, Dr. Rhodes is going to happily hand that puppy over to me. We leave. Because it's time to leave. Dr. Rhodes is coming and surgeries are going to happen. And I had to go pick up, I got an online deal for dog food at PetSmart. Whole way to Carlisle, we're discussing this puppy. You're not getting that puppy. Yes, I am. You're not getting that. Yes, I am. Sherilyn, we just got 2 puppies. I said, you just got 2 puppies. You didn't. But what would have happened to them? I said, I understand that, Chucky. Listen to what I'm telling you. I have never defied you. I have never gone behind your back. The animal lover I am, even when you lived in my home, where your name was on nothing, I respected you enough to not bring another thing in without discussing with you first. He said, I know that. And I'm telling you, today's the day I say, middle finger in the air, I don't give a hoot what you're telling me. I am bringing that puppy home. If you don't like it, leave. He's like, what? I said, you heard me. I go in to pick up the stuff from PetSmart, and he said, hurry up, I'm going to take a nap while you're in there. Well, I'm in there. Finally, he comes in, and here I come getting ready to pay, and I have a pink harness, a pink leash, a pink dog bed, a pink sweater, and he's like, what do you think you're doing? I said, well, I'm going to donate this because that poor thing doesn't have anything. He said, Sherilyn, and I said, shut up. And I go to the register. So they told me that they were going to talk to Dr. Rhodes, and I get home, and Dr. Rhodes didn't call. Dr. Rhodes didn't call. Finally, I call, and I check on Gunner and Dixie, and I asked Joanne, I said, so what did Dr. Rhodes say? She said, about what, hon? I said, you're Yuri. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, they didn't say anything. She said, no. So I tell her the story, and that I told them I want the puppy, and that they had to talk to Dr. Rhodes. So she said, hold on a minute. She gets back on the phone, and she says, because she didn't know anything about it, she says, Dr. Rhodes will call you back in about a half hour. I said, okay. So I was cleaning that, and I'm like nervous, like a new mommy, pacing back and forth. Next thing you know, the phone rings. And I knew who it was via caller ID. So, I hear you're interested in a little pup we have here. I said, oh, Dr. Rhodes. And I start crying, and I tell him how I love her already. And I was going to call her Hannah because I lost my Hannah, and blah, 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 blah. And he said, well, there's something that you need to know. And he explained her sickness. And I said, I was already researching it. And I said, you know, is it possible that that could make her prone to bloat and things like that? And he said, oh, no, no, it's nothing like that. The two don't coincide. But he said, you have to feed her every 2 hours. She has to be elevated to feed. Her food has to be like really soft and mushy. He was giving me all this list, and he said, I'm so grateful when they told me you wanted her. He said, it was like I could breathe for several reasons. I can't think of anybody better suited to be her mommy than me, her father. And he said, you're home so you can be with her and take care of her 24/7, because she does need fed every 2 hours to help build her system up and keep her nourished. And he said, again, she couldn't find a better home to go to. He said, I am elated that you want her. And I know that you can handle this. And I said, I want her. Can I have her? When can I have her? He said, you could pick her up today when you pick up Gunner and Dixie. I'm like, are you serious? So I go back and I wake up Wynn, and I said to him, Dr. Rhodes said I can have her. He said, Cheryl. I said, Chucky. And now I gave him that look. I am telling you, I don't care if you leave. I'm bringing her home. He already knew I was. He didn't even let me go through the door. He's like, I'll go first. He had to have her. He had to hold her. He had to do it all. He wanted her just as bad as I did, but he had to put his foot down and be the big man. Fast forward to 3 years later, Molly is an absolute joy, and he argues all the time whose dog Molly is. He thinks he's something else. But I'm glad. He loves her so much, and he acts like such a big, I'm nothing like you. He's just as bad as me. 4 of the cats and 2 of the dogs are here because of him. 3 dogs, Benny, Gunner, and Dixie. He's just as bad as me. We never set out to have 9 cats and 5 dogs. Trust me when I tell you that. But I wouldn't give any of them up, and neither would he, for all the money. Here we go again. For all the money in the world. And for all that they cost us. They give us so much. In 100 lifetimes. We're not capable of giving back to them everything they give to us. Anyone who does not love and hurts an animal is the most demonic, disgusting form of life there is. How you can hurt something so beautiful, something so innocent, something so giving, and live with yourself. You have got to be the devil incarnate. If I never, ever do anything right in life, if I never accomplish anything, I know that I've been the best mom, the most unselfish mom, and the most devoted mom I could be to my fur kids. And I hold my head high, and I admire myself for that. Because I know what's inside of me. And I know when I look at them, I am bursting at the seams with joy and love. I mean, I look at them, I could sit here and just smile and watch them sleep. And my heart, I could feel my heart just float. Like, if you're a fur child parent, you get it. You wholeheartedly get it. I have been blessed beyond measure with these kids. Wynn has been blessed beyond measure with these kids. And even though Hannah and Madeline and Potter and Ebby and Rennie and Opie and Tiger and O.T. Fred, and they're all in heaven. We talk about them every day. We miss them. And we know that one day we're all going to be together in heaven. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt. There is Rainbow Bridge, and when we die, they're all going to be there waiting for us. And I look forward. I don't want to die. Don't take that wrong. But I look forward to the day our family's complete again and together. That's our rescue story. And if you do anything in life, if you can't adopt or rescue, give. Help those who can. And you know, we've had it rough. I'm going to be honest. We don't own a house because we can't afford a mortgage because of what we pay for them. And we put out $500 a month in just litter and food. That's not toys, that's not treats, that's not vet bills. You don't even want to know what we pay in vet bills. Today, Oliver's going to cost almost $300, and I still owe them $125. I always have a running vet bill. Always. Okay, I got cut off. This dumb thing. I even have an SD card in it. I got to figure out what's going on with this. Anyway, what I was saying was, you know, we don't even own a house because of what we spend on them. And just food and litter, we're at like $300 to $500 a month. It depends. They're eating more now in the winter. So we're going through 2 bags of big dog food a week. And this summer it's 1. So it does vary. So that's $80 a week on just dog food. So right there's $320. 8 times 4. Isn't that right? Sometimes I'm stupid. Yep, $320 on just dog food. That doesn't count cat food or cat litter. And remember, we feed 13 outside cats, and they eat a lot, and it's winter, and you got to feed them twice a day. Plus, over at work, they feed the outside cats, and our little buggers go over there and eat too. They're not dumb. Anyway, there's a lot that we give up. You know, I used to have the most perfect fancy house, like, I'm telling you. And I love, like, candlesticks that are on the floor and beautiful candles in them. And I always had to have, my thing was the perfect sat table. I always had to have beautiful linens on my table and perfect arrangements in the middle. And I always had to have my covers fixed and my pillows fluffed. I mean, we're talking I was fussy. You see my house. It's a trade-off. I can have a fancy house where everything's in place 24/7 and be like, oh, look at my house. Or I can rescue and have my heart overflow and have the love and devotion of these perfect, precious angels that God bless me with. I'll take the latter any day of the week. You can keep your Home and Garden magazine house. I'm good. You know? It's all in what matters to you and where your priorities lie. And if you're one that needs a fancy schmancy house and don't want the animals in, I respect that. I get that. Just don't tell me you have a dog tied outside and we'll be good. Because I don't like that. I don't believe in that. I think it's disgusting. And if I offend you, I'm sorry. But I'm for the animals, and that's just the way it is. And I don't mean to make enemies, and I don't mean to whatever. But when it comes down to reality, I'm the voice of the animals. I will speak for them, and I will rant and rave for them. But this is the time of day. The sun comes in at me, and I got to turn my back so I don't go blind. So I'm going to cut this off, and I will talk to you later. And I hope I didn't get too crazy. I know I cried a couple times, but it's my kids, and that's just the way it is. I want to thank you all so much for being here, and I'm halfway there to that 5. Well, I'm more than halfway. Last time I looked, I was 451. Do absolutely please share my channel, and you could tell your friends in that I'm having a giveaway. You know, my goal is to grow my channel, absolutely. So go ahead and share that. And thank you so much for being here and sticking it out through my rescue story and how we acquired our children's story. And thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't already, please do consider doing so. And hit the notification bell so every time I upload, you would get notified. And also, please give me a thumbs up and a comment. I love to get to know you too. I always answer my comments. I always read my comments. And I interact with my subscribers. And I'm grateful for them, every one of you. And if you want to share me on your social media, that would be fantastic so that other people can find me. And I'll be coming back probably today or tonight yet with a video on my finished objects and my orders that I have complete. I got a different bunny, like my giveaway bunny. Oh, my Lord. It's for a custom order. Wait till you see this color of bunny. Oh, you're going to go crazy. But anyway, I want to thank you so much. I'm going to close out here. And I'm going to get some work done till I get to go bring Oliver home. And I will be back with you later. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a good, safe, warm day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.